name is Abby, and I'm on the product marketing team here at Houzz. I work really closely with our different customers, whether it be builders or designers, to get feedback on our software and understand how you're using the platform and then make adjustments accordingly with our development team. So we just always want to make sure that we're building the right products for our customers. And now I'll pass things off to Julia. Julia, do you want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Hi, everybody. My name is Julia. I'm a client success manager here at Houzz. I've been with Houzz for 3 years now, and I know some of my pros might be joining today. So hi, everybody. I'm excited to take you guys through a couple things today. We're going to go through the 3D floor plan, the client dashboard, selections tools, online payments and homeowner financing. We'll touch on financial reporting and the Help Center resources as well.
Yeah, awesome stuff today. If you guys have any questions as you go along, feel free to add them into the Q&A tab. I'll try and keep a monitor on that. And then as well as when we end each section, I'll also bring some questions to the front of the table so that everybody can hear the responses. So yeah, that's kind of the order of events. And I'll let you go ahead and kick things off, Julia.
Awesome. I'm going to share my screen here. All right. Are we seeing the Houzz Pro?
Yep.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you all for joining us today. I'm excited to take you guys through these items. We're going to talk about the 3D floor plan first, like I mentioned. And this is an awesome tool to represent your vision to the client for their home renovation project. My pros that are using the 3D floor plan consistently are selling more jobs than their competitors because of that visual aspect that they can present to their client. Homeowners love a visual aspect, and those visuals are what sells. So it's a great tool to start using for all of your projects. To actually get started with a 3D floor plan, you have lots of options. So first of all, on your Houzz Pro desktop specifically, we can actually enter the 3D floor plan here in one of our quick enters over here in the Create New 3D Floor Plan. You can also hover over the Search tab to go into see all of your 3D floor plans that you've ever created. It holds all of them there. And you also can enter at the project level too. So the 3D floor plan at this moment in time is only accessible in projects, not leads, just so you're aware. So I'm going to go into one of my projects here so we can start talking about how to actually start one. On the left-hand navigation menu, we'll select 3D floor plans. And at the top here, you can see all of the different options we have in terms of creating one. So first of all, if we wanted to start from scratch, if we clicked this, we would get a rectangle, 4 walls, that's all. So just starting with the bare bones, if you want to get really nitty-gritty in the customization. You also can start from a 3D room scan, which this is one of my favorite features. You go on your Houzz Pro app on your phone, specifically Apple devices, because the LiDAR technology is an Apple product integration. So Android users do have a room scan. It's just a little bit different. So the video I'm going to show is using LiDAR technology for Apple devices, but the Android users can also start from a room scan. It's just a little bit more basic than the Apple variation. So if you were to go on your phone on an Apple device and open up the app, on the home screen, you'll see something that says 3D room scan. If you select that, go into it, you'll be opened up into our LiDAR scan, where when you start scanning the room, it actually will measure all cabinets, floors, windows, doors, furniture even, and it creates automatically a rendering of this space for you. So you can use that rendering to go in and modify the existing space to show what sort of renovations you're going to be making, which is what this one is, a modified after the LiDAR scan. Or you can simply just use the LiDAR scan for taking measurements. A lot of my pros do that as well. It's a quick way to take measurements. So after you do that scan on your phone, you would come back here to the project portal, go into your 3D floor plan. And just like what we're looking at here, your LiDAR scan would be in here as a 3D rendering for you to start a 3D floor plan from. So that's our 3D room scan. You can also upload a 2D floor plan, so like a project plan or blueprint. Once you upload that as a PDF, you'll actually trace the walls, which will turn it into a 3D rendering. You also have the option of starting from one of the templates here. So that's what I'm going to go into today to show you. This is one of my floor plans. I've started from one of these kitchen templates. It's a great starting point that has a lot of items already in the floor plan, just to have a strong start. So what we're looking at here is one of the 3D floor plans I've previously developed. This is an awesome tool for that client visualization, like I was saying. So I'm going to outline some of the aspects of this tool so you guys start feeling comfortable to get in the product and mess around yourself. First, we'll look at these views up top. So right now I'm in the floor plan view. That means we are looking at a 2D rendering of the space. I can now change between black and white and color for printing and stylistic reasons. I can also go into our dollhouse view here, which this is where it's going to really come to life and everything turns into that 3D aspect. I can also toggle over to the walkthrough view where it looks like I'm actually standing in the client's space. So another way for your client to visualize the renovations you're going to be making. You can actually open up this 3D floor plan on your Houzz Pro app, go into the walkthrough mode and project this on your phone when you're standing next to the client. So just another way you can utilize this finished 3D floor plan. Over here in our toolbar, first of all, we have our selection tool. Pretty self-explanatory, just selecting items, walls, furniture, whatever you want to select, you can use our selection tool. The pan is to help you move around the floor plan. Our pencil is to start drawing interior walls. So if I need to split up this kitchen area into another room, I would simply use the Draw Walls tool to draw in an additional room. Now I have another room space with an interior wall. This spade-looking tool is to draw outdoor spaces. So this is one of our newest additions to this program. Every time you want to add in an outdoor space like a deck or a patio or just brick on the ground, you can use this outdoor spaces tool. And maybe I want to add another deck over here on this side of my floor plan. I can draw that in connection to the house. And automatically my outdoor surfaces library will pop up for me to start selecting from items in terms of the surface I want to place here. So we'll look at the decking, for example. We have a bunch of options in here and these are always being added onto. So for anything in the 3D floor plan, if we're missing something, submit some feedback and we'll likely make it for you. We are very pro feedback driven for our product developments. So I just selected this sand deck this deck composition. That's sand. I'm going to go back here and you can actually add labels to this. So to help your client visualize what sort of area that is. You can also select your grade here if you want to adjust the plank size. And you can also now adjust this rotation. So if you want the plank to rotate in a specific angle, you can change that. One limitation with decks, which a lot of my pros ask about, is we can't represent a raised deck. So this is just going to appear as if it's on the ground. That is something we definitely want to expand in the future. But as you can see right now, it's just flat on the ground. Great. So that is our Draw Outdoor Spaces tool. We next have a measurement tool where you can draw a line essentially that is a specific measurement, and then you can move it around to different areas to make comparisons in terms of measurements if you would like. We have some adjustments here in terms of the view. We can just reset our view to the center. We can zoom in and out. This magnet represents what we call snapping. So dragging around a door, for example, it snaps automatically to that wall or whatever wall I'm putting it near. So the fact that it automatically gravitates to the item next to it, that's what the snapping feature does. So if you're looking to fine tune the position of a cabinet or a fridge or a door, you can just simply turn off that snapping feature so that it goes exactly where you put it and doesn't move. This new commenting feature is awesome. If you select it, you can actually click on an item you want to make a comment about. And these can go to your client if you would like. And these comments can also stay internal amongst your team members. So you can comment on anything on the floor plan to whichever individuals you would like. This camera we'll talk about more in a moment, but this is for our newest addition, photorealistic renderings. So you can create a snapshot of a view within the floor plan that turns into a JPEG that looks like it was a photo taken of the space, not necessarily a rendering. So it's really cool. And then we have a settings feature here, which you can make adjustments to our units and other items here in terms of like viewing the floor plan. So going to go back here and we'll talk about this right-hand panel in terms of what's offered here. First of all, we can set our default wall height and thicknesses for all of the walls that we're going to be drawing in. And Greg, you can add labels to the interior areas as well. That is an option. In terms of other structures, it's everything listed here. So I'll show you guys ceilings. That's a newer addition as well. But any doors, windows, staircases, wall partitions, columns, they're all in here to build out the structures of the floor plan. We'll take a look at ceilings. When I go into edit the ceilings, I'm going to select the room in which I want the ceiling to be edited from. So maybe I'm going to be editing the ceiling of this whole area. I can select the ceiling type, and then I can also edit the specifications of the ceiling as well as the paint color, and it actually will tell you your total square footage of that area as well. The limitation to this aspect of the program, the ceiling, is we can't encompass all rooms of the home under one ceiling. That's something I hope we can develop in the near future, but as of right now, ceilings are per room. Awesome. Moving on to adding products into our floor plan, just like we see inside of this one. When I go into the generic products, an example of these generic products are just kind of white placeholder items. They're not necessarily like super stylistic or anything. They're just placeholder items to kind of build out the floor plan and hold the place of whatever products you're going to be putting in there. So we have lots of things in here constantly being expanded, like I've mentioned before, but you can also search through here if you're trying to look for something specific. If I go into my dining sets here, you'll see this dining set is the one that I have on my floor plan right here. You can actually change the finish of it. And since it's a generic product, it's not a real item per se, we can actually edit the dimensions of any of the generic products to be the exact size you're looking for. So looking at this generic dining room set, it is, as I said, generic, plain, just a placeholder. So it's a great way to represent some of the furniture that you're going to be putting in there if we don't exactly have the exact product you're going to be purchasing for the home. When I go to source, this is where we're going to find those legitimate actual products. So when I'm looking at my bar stools here, those are a little more detailed, and these are actual products on Houzz that you can purchase. So you can go into any of these categories here. We have new filters to kind of help you find things. But if I go into my kitchen and dining furniture here, we'll actually see some of these bar stools that are in my floor plan currently. So maybe I want to switch these out for these velvet items. Anytime you select it, it will automatically go into your floor plan. And then you can move around items within this dollhouse view like you're seeing here. It's a good way to like visualize where everything is going. I can move side to side by grabbing the arrows, and then I can rotate at a specific degree if I would like. So I can edit items in this dollhouse view, and in the floor plan view, I can move things around too. So either way, whatever you prefer. And same thing as the generic products, you can modify the dimensions of these products, but just note that the items in the source category, if you are actually going to be purchasing this exact stool, modifying the dimensions here will not accurately reflect what you actually will be purchasing because it is a real item. Any questions about the products that we can put in the floor plan or the structures?
Yeah, we did have one question about, can you add items out of your own selections library?
Unfortunately, no, because there's a lot that goes into actually developing the renderings of these products to put it in. So you can't necessarily just import, but like I said, we constantly add on to the library of items that are offered here. And our 3D guide does a really good job at developing new things quickly. So we can always put in requests and hope it gets developed.
And then Fabricio had a question. He asked, how do I get the measurements to default to the inside of the walls instead of the outside of the walls? Do you know how to do that?
Let's see. So I'm not positive how we differentiate the inside from the outside, because there's only one wall height accessible here in the modification area. But I have heard this question before, and I believe our 3D floor plan guy said that this was possible based on different selections that you can make. Let's see. Okay, so this is it. When you select a wall, you can choose either the interior measurement or the exterior measurement and select which ones you want to change.
Awesome. And then do you mind showing Greg how you can add those labels to interior areas?
Of course. So when I select an area of the home, so I'm going to select this main room here with my selection tool. Here's where it pops up, add a room label. This is also how you modify your flooring. But Greg, if you're trying to add a room label and it's not giving you this option, that is likely because not all of your walls are closed off. So if you want to modify the flooring or a label of a room, it has to be a closed off room. So if there wasn't this wall and door here, this would be encompassed in the great room. I wouldn't be able to modify this little space. So it has to be closed off in order to add that room label.
Awesome. Thank you. I think that's all the questions right now.
And here's my little family room label. Okay, awesome. So the next category here is that ability to upload a drawing. So if you created a floor plan from scratch and you're like, oh, I actually have a blueprint or 2D drawing of a space and I want to upload it, I can upload it here as a JPEG, PDF, or PNG. And then I turn on the tracing mode to actually trace over the area that I want to include into my space. And then let's talk about these cameras. So let me go back to our color and our dollhouse. So this camera tool is really cool for you to be able to fully help your client visualize this space. It turns your floor plan into a true to life image to represent your client's home. So essentially, we modify the height of the camera and how zoomed in or out you want this to be. And then the tilt, if you go into the walkthrough view here, you can edit the tilt. So this is a more fine tuning element that's just in the walkthrough view. So if I'm in Dollhouse, I'm only going to be editing the height and the field of view. And you, of course, can move around your 3D floor plan. And then when this is in the right spot for you, you just click on this new camera option and you can select generate photorealistic image. This takes a moment or two to actually generate. So I'm going to show you ones I've previously generated of this space. But every time you save a camera view, it's here. So you can just select it to go back to that view that you developed previously. And it can be from the floor plan, dollhouse, or walkthrough view. So when we go over to files and photos, I'll show you the actual rendering that it developed so you guys can see. But that's how you actually create those photorealistic images from these camera views. Lastly, how do we actually share all this with our client? All we have to do is click on this share button in the upper right hand corner. And we're going to share this over email. So this will immediately email them a link where they click on the floor plan. And what your client can see is all the different views. They can go through the floor plan, dollhouse, and walk through views of the floor plan itself, but they cannot edit the floor plan. I repeat, they cannot edit the floor plan. Your client does not have access to come in and have editing capabilities to your 3D floor plan unless you were to add them as a team member, which I would discourage you guys from doing because then they would have access to other business and financial information. So the 3D floor plan is for you to portray to your client. You can also send a link, just copy this link directly. And if you copy that link, you can actually see it as your client sees it. So this is what it looks like for them. They'll have the floor plan, the dollhouse, and the walkthrough. They can pan, move, and rotate throughout. Awesome. Any questions about the 3D floor plan or
Nope.
anything maybe
We're
I
doing
didn't?
good. Yep, all good here.
Okay. Awesome. Square footage. Yes, the floor plan does include square footage. When you select an area of the home, of the floor plan itself, like I'm in the great room right now, if you look on the right-hand side, there's the floor and perimeter square footage. That is also the same view, like I said, that you edit the flooring and those room labels. One thing I didn't mention over here is I can toggle between the properties and the comments. So your client can give you comments about the floor plan, which you would see in here.
And Humberto asked, can I do a takeoff with the floor plan?
Technically, yes. It is not going to be super accurate. We discourage our pros from doing that because it won't be super accurate. Takeoffs are intended for blueprints and 2D drawings of spaces, not necessarily created with the 3D floor plan.
And then someone asked, how can we do floor plans on outdoor structures like decks?
So that is by drawing our outdoor structures, like I outlined with our outdoor spaces tool. So this spade looking shape, draw outdoor spaces. This is what I did here with this deck. and this deck as well. So when you draw an area, it will pop up and ask you what sort of material you would like to associate with this outdoor space. And you can select from different materials: pavers, ground covers, deck, and pavement.
Awesome.
I'll show you guys another floor plan that is just an outdoor space. I'll show you that in just one moment.
And then Christopher asked about calculating the wall square footage.
Wall square footage, when I have my selection tool and select the wall itself, right here is my total wall square footage.
Awesome.
There is grass outside, and I will not be going through the takeoff tool today. So I'm going to go into my all floor plans section here in the search bar. And I'm going to click into this one. This one is one that is only an outdoor space. This is a like deck style area. And you can see all the outdoor features that we can put in here. So all of these can be found in our generic products section. We have pergolas, pool representations, turf. I'm on the deck surface, an unfinished plank, hickory. As you can see, we even have a way to represent a fence-like structure, this outdoor wall modular. So there's lots of items in here now about the outdoor spaces, including some plants. We don't necessarily have all of the plants our landscapers would want at this moment in time, but that is something that we are working to further develop more of these outdoor space features. Okay, awesome. So the last thing I want to mention here is a little trick to help editing go quicker. Like if I needed to select all of those bar stools on the last floor plan, or I want to move all of these plants, I can select an item, hold shift, and I can select more items so that I can rotate around and move both of those items at once. So you can do multi-select by clicking an item, holding shift, and then clicking the other item, or multiple. Any other questions about the 3D floor plan tool before we move on to client dashboard?
I don't think so, but I'm going to go ahead and send you guys another poll while we're transitioning. Just what feature do you guys wish you had in Houzz Pro? Let us know what you think. We're always looking for new feature ideas and continually growing and building the application. So let us know what you think.
All right, everybody finish up your poll, or you can also do it later.
Yeah, it should go to the side for you too if you want to answer it later.
Awesome. So the client dashboard is an awesome tool to have transparency with your client, and it's a portal that is like a source of truth for them in terms of their project. The goal is to have them ask you less questions. Just go to their portal when they have a question, and they'll likely find content that you shared with them there to help answer their question. It's also a great way for your client to keep everything in one spot for their project. A lot of my pros are trying to use like Google Docs and email and all these other resources for their client, where the client has to go to 10 different locations to find all the information for their project. This is simply one portal they can click a link to and see all the content that you shared with them right there. This is in our project stage. So we're going to go back into that same project, It's accessible in every single one of your projects, though, just a side note. And on this left-hand menu, we're going to select our client dashboard. We'll talk about how to get items on the client dashboard, but in terms of how we actually get this to our client, once again, we're just going to email them a quick invite. So you can send this to yourself if you ever want to test this out and look at what it looks like for your client. But this includes a link that literally links them right to here. They don't have to have a Houzz account. They don't have to log into anything. They click the link and they're here. So in terms of after you've shared it with your client, how do you get content on there for them to see? First of all, any financial documents, estimates, invoices, change orders, purchase orders that you've already shared with your client automatically will be on here. The key phrase is there, you already sent it to them. Then it will automatically be on the dashboard. So your client can come in here and approve and view and sign estimates, invoices, change orders. Also, on the left-hand side, any messages you guys have exchanged over email, they'll all be recorded here if you were emailing them through the CRM. So once again, keeping all records in one location. Like I said, any financial documents you've already sent to them will be here for them to view. You can put together a schedule for the project to share to your client. Some pros want the schedule to stay internally just for their team members, then you wouldn't share it with your client. But if you want this to be a client-facing schedule so they know what stage of the process you're in, they know what tomorrow's going to hold for them, they can come here and see the schedule that you specifically shared with them. Any files that you've added to the project folder, and once again, specifically shared with them, will be viewable here. Just because you added a file or a photo onto the project folder does not mean that they have to have access to it. You specifically choose what you want the client to see and not see. So some of these files and photos can be kept internally. And then our selections tool, which we'll be going through next, but anytime you share a selections board with your client and publish it to the dashboard, it will be here. So let's go to our files and photos to look at that photorealistic rendering we developed earlier and to show us how to share those things to the dashboard. So inside of that same project folder, we're going to click on files and photos. And here's all the files and photos I have for this project folder. First of all, let's take a quick look at this camera rendering. As you can see from our 3D floor plan here, it captures light, it captures dimension. It looks like it could be a real space. And you can make it look even more realistic by taking better angles than I did here. But here's one of the outdoor space. Looks almost like it would be an actual photo. So that's the goal of that camera tool in the 3D floor plan. So I want to share those pictures with my client on the client dashboard. I select the photo, and in the upper right-hand corner here, we have this people icon. You will see this people icon all throughout our product. That reflects on permissions. Who has permission to view that document or resource? If I click on that, I will be able to share it to my client dashboard by clicking on that they have access. And this is also where you would give subs access to your files and photos if you have subs on this project. So now, as you can see, because of this people icon, that means that these 3 documents have some sort of sharing permission, whether it's for my client or for my sub. So if you do not want to share a specific file or photo with your client, make sure it doesn't have any sort of icon next to it. That's what you can use as a signifier. And if you click on it and click on your people permissions, you'll see that your client has access or your subs have access, or both or neither. So that's the same case everywhere. Like, I'm not overviewing the schedule today, but if I see these icons on my schedule, that means my client has access or my teams have access. So when I go to sharing permissions, does my client dashboard have access? Yes. As we saw, it is on the dashboard. So anywhere you see these icons, that's, like I said, where we're talking about permissions, who can see them. So the things that are shared automatically to our dashboard are messages exchanged with our client through the CRM, any financial documents you've already shared with them, and same thing for the selections boards. If I've shared it with them, it will be on my dashboard. Everything else, you have to specifically share it to the dashboard through that people icon that we were looking at just a moment ago. Any questions about how do we know what's on our dashboard? How do we get something on our dashboard, or how we share the client dashboard with the client?
Anthony asked, is there a default setting for the permissions for the client dashboard?
No, you have to specifically share the specific items with the client, because we probably don't want our homeowner seeing every single thing here inside of the project folder. Some of this is internal only information, I'm sure.
And then Robert asked, if he's using the app, can photos go directly into the job folder instead of uploading them later?
If you are in the app, in the files and photos section, you can take pictures right into it. So you can do that from the app, or you can upload them after. That's up to you.
Perfect. Awesome. And then let's see. David asked, can we give access to some subs and not others?
Yes. So on the folder itself in this project, I would have to have invited that specific sub here to have access to this project. So not every sub is going to have access to every project. Even if you've invited them to Houzz Pro previously, you would have to give a specific sub an invite for this project, and then you can decide what content you want to share with the sub from that project.
Awesome. And then Colleen asked, how do you share the dashboard to the client?
Just by clicking on the client dashboard view here in your project folder. On the right-hand side, there's an invitation. So we email them this invitation, and it sends them a direct link. So they don't have to sign in. They don't have to have a Houzz account. They just have to have the link to their dashboard, and then they have access.
And then one last one, Camille asked, are the notes visible to the client or internal only?
Notes are internal only. There's not even an option to share the notes with your client. So let's see, let's go into our notes. They must have moved our notes from that section. But no, the notes are not, notes and daily logs are not automatically shared with the client. They are internal only.
And then we have lots of questions around sharing with the subcontractor. If you've added multiple subs to a project, can you choose to share files with just one of the subs?
I believe it would give them all access, because when I turn on access, it's visible to all subcontractors and vendors invited to the project. So you cannot further specify from there. But right now, we are developing a new subcontractor interface for Houzz Pro. So there might be some more fine-tuning coming in terms of access permissions for subs. The client dashboard view and the subcontractor view for Houzz Pro access both of those are being completely reworked to be even more beneficial to the sub or the client.
Yes, and the subcontractor revamp is coming like this quarter. It's one of the projects that I'm working on. So I believe that the file sharing issue will be fixed in that. So exciting stuff.
When the project is finished, how do we stop sharing with the subs or clients? Yes, you close out the project. And even if they still had the link and go back into the dashboard, they would still be seeing just the stuff you shared previously. You wouldn't be working on that project any longer. Last question before we move on. My phone photos have a different extension instead of JPEG and there's no preview. Will the client or sub be able to see the photos? Yes, they'll just have to click on it, but you're right. There is no preview for file types that are not JPEG. I've been encountering that a lot with the new, like Humberto said, HEIC, the new iPhone file type for photos. Our system doesn't have a preview for them like we're seeing here. So only JPEGs will have previews, but if you share that file with them to the dashboard or to the sub, then they will be able to click on it and actually see it. There's just no preview in the system. All right, we're going to move on to selections. I guess any last minute quick questions about client dashboard before we move on?
Nothing so far has come in, so I think we're good.
Okay. So we're going to actually stay in the project folder here for our selections. But before we actually click into them, why do we want to use these? This is a workspace and a presentation tool to help you manage your project from design to completion. You can manage product selections, material choices. You can track the budget of all of those selections. You can present to your clients and stay updated with any changes, whether that's your client wanting to change something or you. All of that is shared with your client and a great tool for yourself as well. So when I come into selections boards here, the first thing you want to do is actually create a selections board. So when you come in here for a project, there's not going to be any of this content we're looking at. These are items that I've created for my project. So you would click on create new and it says room name. So the default is to create selections boards based on different rooms of the home that you're going to be working on. But when I'm working with general contractors, for example, or a home builder, they don't always want to do it by room, and that's totally acceptable. Like you will see here, flooring and rug options. I have a board just for that. So you can have a board just for tile selections or just for flooring choices. It does not have to be per room. This is totally customizable to whatever you want it to be. So you would create that room name, and then you can also assign this to a team member as well if you would like somebody else to be working on this. A great example of that is if you have a designer that you work with specifically, you can invite them as a team member to your account and assign them to these boards for them to go in and click products and put together the selections for you on this project. So we're going to go into this living room mood board, or excuse me, room plan down here. And we're just going to look at this one. This is an example of a built out room board for the living room. So as you can see here, I have inspirational images. I do have a mood board on here that you can create. And then you'll also see products on here. So these are all products I would want in my living room. So we'll talk about all these options on the right in a minute. But first, let's talk about how do we actually get products in here. So first of all, we need to have the Clipper tool installed, and we need to be using a Chrome browser. So that's very important. Anytime you guys are using Houzz Pro, you should always be in a Chrome browser. Other browsers, the functionality isn't always there with the product. So I recommend Chrome always, but the Clipper tool is specifically a Chrome extension. So if you're not using Chrome yet, it's time to switch over to the most updated browser for this. So you can see on my bookmarks tool up here, my bookmarks bar, this Clipper tool, it's a black H. That's when you know you have it installed. And I recommend pinning it to your bookmarks there, so it's always in the top right. So I'm going to be using Houzz as an example, but I want to emphasize that the Clipper tool functions on any website, not just Houzz. You can go on Home Depot, Floor and Decor, Pottery Barn, Restoration Hardware, wherever you're going to be clipping products or materials from, it functions on anybody's website. So like I said, I'm just using Houzz for this example. So I want to add another rug to my living room. So I'm going to click on a rug. And when I hover over this image, my Clipper tool is going to start appearing.
I just want to point out to you that you can also do, like if you're shopping on build.com, I know a lot of contractors use build.com to purchase like light fixtures, plumbing fixtures, and tubs, and all those fun things that you need for a construction project. You can use the Clipper there as well.
Mm-hmm. So as you can see in the upper right-hand corner of my image, the black H is appearing. I just had to refresh my Clipper tool just by clicking on it real quick to make sure it was going to pop up for me. And now you can see the black H. So anytime that appears, that means we can clip this product, this image. So I click on that and it appears on the right-hand side. And you have the option to use smart sourcing. So if you turn smart sourcing on, it's going to automatically input all of this information for you. I have the whole product description here. My price is entered for me, the title. If I want to add more images, I just go and clip the other images by selecting the Clipper tool on those other pictures. If smart sourcing isn't accessible on specific websites, you can always click this pointer finger symbol, and this will help you manually assign items. So maybe I want to make sure that my product color is on there. I can select the color and assign it to the finish and color. So if smart sourcing isn't working and automatically inputting all this information for you, you just use the pointer finger tool, select the information, and assign that to whatever piece of information you're trying to assign it to. So once you're done clipping all of your information and images, one of the most important steps is scrolling down below that client description. And we want to fill out these couple categories here. So first of all, what category of product is this? You just type in what you want it to be. So I've entered all of these. Just type in something. Furniture, flooring, lighting, rugs, whatever it applies to. You select your vendor, which you can easily enter information when you create a new vendor. It's literally just this couple pieces of information. And then most importantly, I'm assigning it to the project I want this product to be going into. So the large build firm project is what I'm working out of. And I want this going into my living room board. And it's going to just directly add it to my board. So I'm going to click Save to Houzz Pro. And now I've clipped that product. So I describe this as electronically cutting something out of a magazine. That's essentially what we're doing. I come back to my living room board here, and here's this rug waiting for me. So because I assigned it to the room and this board, it comes directly here. If I clip a product and it's not sitting here on my board for me, where is it? If first of all, let's check our selections library. So when I come into my selections library, every single product I've ever clipped, no matter what project, is in here. So you can reuse items that you've previously clipped for other clients on this project too. The project items is going to be clipped items that are just for this project. So similar to your selections library, just more specific to this actual project that we're working on. I can also add the 3D floor plans that I've developed in this project folder to my selections board here. So I know this isn't applicable because it's a living room, but maybe if I inserted this floor plan, I want my client to see it here, it's going to be living on this board. Mood boards I can add to this selections board as well. I can create one right here. It will link me to the mood boards, and then it will put it on my selections board for me. So that's what this one is, just a culmination of images for inspiration. And then we can add images to our selections board as well. One of my pros the other day said, well, the wholesale that I purchased countertops from for my kitchen renovations, they don't necessarily have a website where I can go and clip that exact countertop that I'm looking for. Take a picture of it on your phone and insert it onto your board. And when you put a picture on here, you can actually just type in a description and a name so that you could enter the information about that countertop and the pricing per square foot or whatever information you need on there. So you can import it as an image.
And same thing, Greg asked a question earlier about adding products in. If you run into something random that you need to add in, like a grout color or a towel pattern, you can add those that way too. So that's what I was referencing, just so you know.
Correct. Yes. If you need to add any like technical specs or installation specs for products, you can type those up on a Word doc or PDF, and you can add files to this board too. So you can really add, there's a way to add anything you want onto these boards, whether it's through your selections of clipping or in a 3D floor plan, mood board, image, or files. There's a way to do everything. So once it's on here, other things that we can customize are if I want to create different sections, this is almost like a divider, which you can expand and collapse. So if I want different products in this section, I can actually move these specific images and anything else on my board to that section to divide up the content that is on here. Also, I can set a budget for this room. So I can type in my budget and specify if I want to include tax into this budget as well. And then every time I select a product that I've clipped, I can choose if I want to include that in my budget or not. And as you can see, I haven't set the budget, but this item's price is now included in it. So if you have 3 different types of chairs you're trying to offer to your client and have them select one or the other, I typically recommend selecting the most expensive chair, including that one in the budget, and then you're already accounting for the most expensive option that your client could be choosing. In terms of these items, all these buttons around our products that we've clipped, the item overview is how you edit any information about the product. So I don't want my client to be able to Google this exact rug to see that I've marked it up 10%. So I can just change this name to rug option 1 or some generic naming process. You can also edit other information about the product. So in terms of financials, if I forgot to add my markup earlier, I can add that 10% markup here. I can also add additional information in this view as well. So now you can see my rug has been marked up and the naming is generic. When I click on this link, it's going to take me directly back to the product. So it doesn't matter that I forgot what website I got that on or now have a generic name associated with it. I just can click the product link and go right back there, which does not have to be shown to your client. I can also comment once again to my client or internally. And then I can also change the size of these icons. So as you can see, we have a bunch of different sizes. Our 3D floor plan there is large, our mood board is medium, and all of our other items are small. So you can help create visual weight to specific items. Changing the width, setting it as our cover image for this board, hide it from your client, move the item to a different area or board, remove it or delete it totally. And then if we click on this little pencil and ruler button, this is all the specifications that will be shown to your client as well. You can also make changes. So in terms of actually what do we do with this now? We want to share it with our clients so they can go through the approvals process and make their selections. So I click preview and share. And just like for the estimate and all the other financial documents, what I'm seeing here in the white is exactly as your client sees it. So let's customize what our client can see. In terms of pricing, do I want to show them my pricing and or my budget? Item details, I don't want to show them those links, but maybe somebody does. I'm showing them all of the descriptors and the quantity of items. And then what am I actually asking approvals on? Yeah, I want approvals on my products. Maybe I put in 2 different mood boards for them to choose which inspiration they like better. Or maybe I only put one in and I'm not asking for their approval. You can just turn that off. And then if I uploaded that picture of the countertop, I want to make sure I'm asking for approval on images and files because that likely was a product I wanted their selection on. So then you can share it over email again. And then like we talked about earlier, selections board will be published on the client dashboard automatically when I share it with them. Not before though, I have to share it and then it will be published for the dashboard for them to go in and make their approvals and selections there as well. I can also export as a PDF, but there's other items too. So once I get all of their approvals on the products, I can actually convert this board to an estimate or invoice to transfer all of these products onto a financial document. So I can choose which items I want to create an estimate or invoice with. And as you can see, I have my other selections boards as an option too. So I can take all of my finals approvals for all of my boards for this project and put them all on an estimate or an invoice together. I can also, in the preview and share dropdown, I can also export this as a PDF or download a tear sheet, or I can manually publish it to the dashboard without emailing it to them. And then in this informational button here is just general board information. This is my cover photo, so you can always change that. All right, I know that was a lot of information. What questions do we have about getting products on our selections board, sharing it with our client? What do we actually do with it?
Yeah, so Allison asked, she is asking if you can maybe go to build.com and do the Clipper tool there. So do more of like a building product. So maybe go to build.com and look for like a Delta faucet or something like that, just to help with context.
Yeah. So we have to go into an actual product. So I know we have to do a lot of click-throughs to get to one. So bear with me for a moment. And if there's any other questions you want me answering while I'm doing this.
Yeah, let's see. I don't think that we have any other questions right now. No, I've answered most of them. So
Okay.
Craig said his designer will love it.
Awesome.
That's good.
So a recent improvement we've made, guys, is when I hover over this and I get this magnifying view, the clipper tool isn't registering that. So when I go down to the preview of that with minus the magnifier glass, I just click on the image down here on my preview of that. So I just selected the clipper tool here, and we'll see if smart sourcing works on this one. On some websites, it doesn't. So if it doesn't, we're going to select our pointer finger. But here we are. We clipped this image. Maybe I want to clip that one and this view. So I'm just selecting the little baby clipper icon on all of these image previews here instead of hovering over it with the magnifying glass. And then I'm going to select my finger tool to start assigning the name. So I'm going to click on this. I'm going to assign it as the product title. Maybe I need this collection information. That's a link. So it's a little more difficult to click the links, but I'm going to assign this as my cost. Here's my finish. So I'm just adding in all of this information.
You can also do SKU number up at the top. That can be helpful for you guys when, after your designer's done the selections and you need to order, but you don't know what product she said, you can kind of Google that SKU number and go back and order the right thing.
Yep. And then if you want the description in there, you'll have to find the description and add that. And then we're going to select the category. So I don't have... Let's type in a new one. Maybe I want sinks as a category. Just type it in and hit enter. I would need to add my vendor in there. So for this example, I'm just going to click on Houzz, but we talked about you just click create new vendor. Assigning this to my large build firm project. And which room do I want it in? Let's put it in my hall bath. Save to Houzz Pro. I'm going to go back into my selections boards. Find my hall bathroom. And now I have one item, which should be my sink in here. Okay, here's my sink. That little tiny image that was down below looks like it was pretty low quality. So that's why we're getting blurry images here in terms of that image. But you can remove these and you can always custom add in more images. So if you get a better picture of that sink through a screenshot or something, you can always upload that to be a higher quality image for this project, for this product.
Awesome. I've got a couple more questions and then we need to keep moving so we stay on time. Can your clients upload documents through the client dashboard?
That's a great question. Your clients can email you documents in their view of the client dashboard. I don't believe that they actually can share stuff to and publish to the dashboard. We can double check real quick.
And then she also asked, do you know how to remove items from the selections library?
I don't think we can actually remove things from the selections library, but I think there was a recent update on that. So let's check if that has been updated in just a moment. So the client can send you messages here in the client dashboard, which they can attach pictures and files into. So the answer to the question is yes, the clients can share documents with you through the client dashboard through this messaging feature. They can't go into these files and upload files here, but they can share files through the messaging feature.
And then Anthony asked, is there a maximum on the amount of data or files that you can upload to these selection boards?
No, but the more data you upload, the longer it takes to load. So sometimes loading speed can be compromised if we have just a mass amount of data, but no, there's no limitations. The removing items from selections library. Let's double check that real quick. For the sake of time, let's report back on that one. I believe I did figure out a way to do that, but I cannot recall right this second on how to remove that.
Yeah, I don't think that it exists currently, but we're revamping the catalog right now. And that's going to be something that will be included.
Awesome. We will talk about Houzz created videos at the end. Anything else we need to cover now about selections?
Nope, I think you're good to keep going.
Okay.
Anything else comes in, I'll answer it.
Okay. So the second half of selections, which I will quickly overview here, is your tracker. So when you're in your selections boards, you can toggle over to the tracker here, or from your project level, you can go into the selections tracker right under the selections board. So this is a tool to keep all of your products and selections for each project together. You can filter these stages based on planning, which involves more like item details. You can go into the financials to look at all of the costs, your markups, add them here. You can go into the procurement tab to talk about shipping and add statuses for this. These are not automatically updated right now. These are manually updated if you would like to be using this feature to track shipping. You can go into the all view to see it all. You just scroll over and you will see all of that information. In terms of customization, there's so much customization you can do here. So you can sort by whatever piece of information you want to be looking at. You can organize based on the category of item, like the furniture, sink, rugs that you assigned to it, or by room if you want to break it down by room. And then you can apply additional filters here. If you want to filter based on the vendor, the category, anything you can filter by. This stacked versus flat view, it talks about the line height. So how much information do I want broken down? Do I want it simplified in the flat, or more dynamic in the stack, telling me more information at once? I also have further filters, customizing my views. So how much of information for each column do I want being displayed? So you can simplify this. Right now, everything is on. I can also export this information. So after my final selections have been made, I can come here and export this FFE schedule as a PDF to create a construction set of final selections. You can also organize that by room to have that PDF even nicer. I can also download a tear sheet, which breaks down all of your item information and prices and descriptions for all of the products clipped. You can also add custom fields if you scroll to the end and click on this plus, or if you click on the add button, you can add custom fields and different pieces of information or links in here. And then this tracker can also be used to convert to financial documents. The same thing as we did on the boards, I can select items and convert those specific items to a document. So same thing as the selections board. This is just kind of another way to do it, another view. Maybe some people's brains want to see the more visual component on the boards. Maybe some people like the more analytic breakdown of the tracker.
We're good to keep going.
Awesome. We're going to move on to online payments now, which is a a great topic to talk about, very relevant within Houzz lately, and something we're encouraging all of our professionals to be utilizing. Online payments, we use a company called Stripe to process these. How do you actually go to where you set up your online payments? In the settings section, you select online payments. So on the left-hand navigation, hover over settings and select online payments. This is where you go to actually link your bank account. These online payments are for you to utilize on financial documents that you send to your client for your client to pay you faster and more secure. Like I said, we use a company called Stripe to process these transactions. Some of you may already be using Stripe. That's awesome. You can integrate your bank account here to use it on the financial documents. So we have credit card and ACH transfers. Right now, ACH is only for US pros. So our Canadian pros don't have the ACH bank transfers. But the fees associated with this are 3.6% for credit card transactions and 1% for ACH bank transfers. All of that can be automatically deferred to your client with a click of one button. So after you link your bank account here, it will actually pop up a box at the bottom and it will say automatically defer transaction fees to clients. If you select that, all projects where you process financial documents with payment schedules, the client will automatically pay that fee. So I'm going to show you how to do that within the project folder as well. When you do it in the online payment settings here, that will be an automatic deferral of the fees for all projects, but maybe on a specific project, you want to take the fee on yourself, and you can always build that into your markup. So maybe your client would be more sensitive about a fee, so you want to build it into your markup and just have yourself pay it. You can tailor it per project, per client. In terms of timing of actually receiving these payments, it's 2 to 3 business days for ACH and credit cards. The first time you ever process one of these transactions, it will take 5 business days, but that is only on the first one. So after that, it's just setting up your account on that first 5 days, and then any transaction post the first one, it will be 2 to 3 business days. So in terms of looking at it on a per project basis, if you don't want your client to pay the fee, or if you do want your client to pay the fee on that specific project, you just go into the project folder. In the upper left-hand corner, we have this pencil button. This is the Edit Project View. We're going to come in here. And when you scroll down, you will see online payment methods. So my bank account is not linked, but when yours is here, there will be 3 different fields. One will be asking if you want to accept ACH bank transfers for this project, and one will be asking if you want to accept credit card for this project. The default is set to always for both of those. So if you only want your client to pay you credit card on this project, you would come in here, turn off the ACH bank transfer. Then they would only have the option to do credit card. The third field is asking if you want to defer that transaction fee to this client. We're on the project level, so we're editing project-specific preferences. If you want to take on the fee yourself for this project, you can take off deferring it to your client. Any questions about these online payments?
Nope, you are all good right now.
Awesome. So just a side note, if you guys want to be utilizing the online payments, like I mentioned, that is on financial documents. So you have to set up a payment schedule on that document itself if you want your client to pay you online. So at the bottom of all of your financial documents, you'll see that payment schedule. If you're using that, then your client will be able to pay you online through Stripe. fees are 3.6% for credit cards and 1% for ACH bank transfer, which, like we're talking about, it can be deferred to your client automatically, or you can pay it yourself.
Awesome. We have about 10 minutes left.
Awesome.
So we should jump on to homeowner financing and reports.
Great.
Perfect.
Homeowner financing. We can find information about this once again in settings in the financing solutions here. This is a new partnership with Houzz. Green Sky is the company, and they originally worked with Home Depot to offer pros of Home Depot their clients loans, but now Houzz is working with them. So financing is a hot word, maybe has a great association for some people, maybe not so great for others. So this is an awesome program where you as pros can sign up. And the reason why you would want to sign up is to get more yeses from your homeowners. I know a lot of my pros, they talk about doing this type of shower, and the client always says no because they don't have the budget for it. This is how you get them to say yes more. They have more buying power because they have more money backing them. This also can help you as a pro expand your client base to more people who you maybe weren't able to work with before. It also can help you close larger projects by offering other payment solutions to your clients. When you sign up for this program, you take a quick 5-minute application, you fill it out, you get connected with an account assistant. So you have a direct point of contact within Green Sky that coaches you through everything that has to do with offering your homeowners loans. You get to choose the type of loans you offer. There's many different choices, and you choose 2 options you want to offer to your clients. So that dedicated account manager is there to coach and train you on how to use and sell these loans to your homeowner. When it comes time for you to utilize this for a project, your homeowner fills out a 5-minute application, and there's an instant decision whether they're approved or not at the end. The credit check is not required up to $100K, and more money can be loaned out, but past $100K is when they require that credit check. So please feel free to come in here and get started to find out more information and have the Green Sky individuals help you. They're experts and will coach you through the entire process. Last note here, there is a small fee to be part of this program, but just like the ACH bank transfer, we can build that into our markup and our cost of doing business in order to help us get more clients and close more jobs with the assistance of this program. Any questions, just high-level questions about Green Sky? I'm not positive on all the nitty-gritty details. You'll need to inquire more.
Yes, there's going to be a Green Sky webinar. I believe it's next week. So just about the details about Green Sky. Anthony asked, what's the timeline to receive the money? And I believe that question was from a few minutes ago. So it's about online payments.
2 to 3 business days is the standard timeline in terms of how long it takes to deposit into your account. The first time, only the first time, it will take 5 business days. After that, it's always 2 to 3.
Awesome.
The fee for this loan offering, I am not sure. We were not educated on that quite yet. Like we mentioned, there's a specific webinar for this financing solutions next week. And when you get started, I'm sure it will outline information for you.
Awesome.
We're going to jump over to financial reports now. So this is a quick topic. We'll breeze through this, but in the company tab, when we select financial reports here, these are all of the reports we currently offer for you. These pull information from the financial documents you issue and time entries. So what are these reports? We have incoming, outgoing, and amounts invoiced and remaining liabilities on our payment reports. We have incoming transaction reports based on outstanding payments scheduled on documents. Outgoing transactions by project, that's registered by you using purchase orders to reflect outgoing money per project. And then we have time billing broken down by team member or by project. That's by information you enter into the time and expense tool per project or by team member. So for this example, we're going to take a look at the payment report. I want to show you guys how to save these custom reports. So when I go into a report here, there's a bunch of different filters. So if I have a specific time frame or a specific project or some sort of specification that I want to always be able to go back to without altering all of these filters every time, first of all, I'm going to create those filters. So I only want to be looking at active projects. Maybe I only want to look at my a specific date range, maybe just this quarter. I can filter based on income or expense for this report, additional grouping and column settings here. Maybe I don't need all of these columns. I can take some off. After I apply those changes in the filters, I do not, one second, I don't have any reports for this quarter. So let's do just last year. After you apply those changes, you will see the option to save this report view. So you'll name this preset as a specific custom report to signify to you what this report is. You'll click Save, and then when you come into your financial reports in the Company tab, you'll have that custom report view where you can just click View Report. You can also delete or rename, and then inside the reports, as you saw, you can export to Excel to export these reportings to have an Excel document compared to an online document here. We are building out the amount of reports we're offering, but this is a great starting point to help you understand incoming and outgoing transactions, payment reports, and then time billing purposes. Any questions about the financial reports?
Nope, we are all good there. And Christopher, yes, we do have a job costing feature coming soon. Really exciting. If you're interested, let me know in the chat, and I'll add you to our beta list, and you can early test it.
Awesome. Last thing I want to point out is additional resources. So if you're working with a client success manager like myself or an onboarding specialist, you can always go to them for questions. You can also come here in our help button in the lower left-hand corner to go into our help center, which is kind of like Google for Houzz content. You can look at video tutorials, previous webinars, and our Learn Center has so much content that kind of goes into specific pros as well. Our support line is an additional piece of an additional resource. If you ever are in need of immediate attention and your CSM is busy, you can always contact support as well. And then the last thing I want to mention is our Houzz Pro certification that we're doing. This is on the home screen of Houzz Pro. You can earn your credentials here, which is an awesome Houzz Pro certified badge that will actually go onto your profile to display publicly to homeowners that, hey, I'm certified in Houzz Pro software. And a lot of these homeowners are starting to pick up on the offerings that we have, like the fact that pros working with Houzz can put together those 3D floor plans, do the LiDAR scans that we talked about today. Homeowners value that technological aspect that their pros can offer them. So definitely check this out, get started. This will take you through the whole program. And then after all of these tasks are completed, which doesn't take that long, a lot of my pros have done it, you get that badge on your profile. That is all from me today, guys. Do you have any other questions for me this last minute?
I think that we're pretty covered. Lots of people are excited about job costing, so I'm excited to see that.
Yeah.
Very deeply involved there. So I will get you guys on the beta list for all of you that asked. Let's see, anything else? I think that's about it. I'm going to send out one more poll just to see if you guys enjoyed today. Did this session help you? How do you feel? That sort of thing. So if you'll just fill that out for us, that would be awesome. And then we hope you have a great rest of your day and an awesome weekend. Thank y'all.
Thank you.